All right. Everything's working. All right. Good evening, everyone. This is Kesh. Once again with our skirmish sim teacher Mikey, here to discuss a game that I've actually never played before, because right before my first tutorial game with future presidential candidate and current first lady Christopher Go. Wait, sorry, wrong Christopher Go, but not that Christopher Go, but our beloved eye doctor Christopher Go. Um, right before my first tutorial game, we went into our first ECQ. So I was never actually able to learn the game. So here to help me learn it, along with the rest of you, is Teacher Mikey. So Teacher Mikey, please tell us about Warcry.
Okay, so Warcry, it's one of the three skirmish combat games that I've been playing. It's from Games Workshop, and so for those who are not too familiar with what a skirmish combat game is, so what we have usually, what's very popular or what's more well known are the big army games, particularly in the Warhammer Age of Sigmar. You have big armies, lots and lots of units grouped together, marching across the battlefield, and throwing bucketfuls of dice. So skirmish combat games, the difference with them is that you'll be playing with a lot less. And what's great, so for example, in Killteam, you can have as few as 4 models up to 20, and in Warcry, you can have as few as 3 models, and you can even have a war band of 15 models. So compared to big army games where you'll take a month or two, some people take even an entire year just to build a big force. Skirmish combat games have the advantage of being able to you can accomplish a lot. Like right now, I'm on my second week of building my Stormcast Eternal Warband. I'll show my progress later. But it took me this is about finished. It took me 1 weekend to build everything. Actually, one Saturday afternoon to build everything, then another Saturday to paint it halfway, and by this Saturday, the third Saturday, it'll all be done. So that's what's great about skirmish combat games. So why play Warcry? Why play Warcry?
Okay,
So
so we
that's
start the slides, yeah?
there you go. So this is what it would look like up close now. And later I'll show you some actual gameplay photos. These were taken from the Warhammer community website, and you can
Yeah.
see that battles in skirmish combat games are very personal. Combat happens on a one-to-one basis. You're taking alternating turns, and compared to big army games like Age of Sigmar, Fantasy Battles, Warhammer Fantasy Battles, and Warhammer 40K, it's not I go move everything and then you go you move everything. And what usually happens, and we saw this in the someone posted this in the Warhammer Philippines website. What my it's a meme. What my army looks like at the start of the game. So you got all these race cars whooshing by, but at the end of the turn, everything's all crash and burnt. No? And that's what happens in big army games. You start the game. Whoever goes first gets to shoot with everything, throw everything at the enemy, including the kitchen sink, and literally wipe out um, maybe a big portion, of a half a portion of the army of your opponent. That doesn't happen in skirmish games. I move one, you move one, I move one. It's basically chess, and you
Hmm.
can see it here.
Heads up lang like that, like shooting and wiping out the opposing army does not happen when you're playing death.
Right,
Because
right.
what is a shooting phase? Anyway, continue please.
Yeah, so that's a good thing to note. No? Unless you're playing any of those factions that are able to survive or weather the assault, so to speak, weather the storm, so to speak, you're going to have a bad day at the office. It's just not gonna be a good game for you. So more reasons to play Warcry. Yeah, let's look at the next slide. I think we have something there. That's the yeah. So these are actual photos from the Dragonforge, with with our favorite eye doctor, Doctor Tofgo, and wow, Roji. Okay, I almost forgot your name. And so this is one of the funnest games that I've ever had. This is actually a four-way. This is actually a four-way. Story. Johan was dipping in from time to time, trying to move one. And I think by this time the store had been closed. So, so no worries there. No? I'm not getting Johan into trouble by saying this. No? But this is a fatal four-way that we had. There were Iron Jaws, there was Corvus Cabal, and my faction. We go to the next slide. That's my Daughters of Cain, and what do you call this? Chaotic Beasts of Dokgo. And you know, this encounter, the picture that you're looking the two photos you're looking at right now, that's how personal battles can be in skirmish. No? It's very brutal, it's very bloody, and you really see what happens at the small scale level. No? And what happens is, because you're only handling a few models, you kind of get an attachment to them. Like, you have your favorites, and you even start naming some of them. And actually, when you okay, in most skirmish games, when you fill out their data card, or when you fill out the roster, you're going to give them names, and you're going to indicate what they're equipped with, what their role is, and once you deploy them to the field, there's a sense of dread that, oh no, I don't want you to die. And then, in the same vein, when they accomplish extraordinary feats of heroism, like what happened here in our fatal four-way, that's a witch elf. No? That's a witch elf from my Daughters of Cain warband, and she's going up. I forget the name of this. I think it's a Fomoroid. I forget. No, let's just say that
Yeah, it's an ogroid something.
an Ogroid. Okay, so in terms of power level, she's facing by herself, okay, a monster with at least four times her health and twice the striking power. But that's what's great about skirmish
Yeah,
games. Those
but did you
encounters can
die?
happen. No, she
What?
survived. She survived, and eventually she was able to stall long enough for all of us to be able to take this thing down. It
Oh
was
wow.
wild. It is super wild. So that's what's great about skirmish combat games. You get to see these things happen. You, know? You can have David Goliath matchups. You can have one versus many matchups happen on that map. And imagine the chaos when there's four-player involved on such a small map. It gets crazy. Oh, and I won this game, by the way.
Wow. Of course you did. That's
It was
why there are
wild.
pictures, right?
It was wild.
Okay. So next slide. Right.
Hey, okay, so we got people. Yeah, we got. Yeah, let's say hi to Michael Lim, or one of our regular viewers. He also
Yeah,
watches me
he's
during
over
the
here.
variability. Okay, see, I keep forgetting your nickname, no, Angelito ko, but we played Transformers before. Okay, and he's this guy, si Angelito ko. Um, you see him play Warcry often. You see him post Warcry stuff on the Warhammer page. Yeah. So this is how I got started. No, this was this is an old story. People have heard this 1,000 times already, but for those who haven't, 2 years ago, 2019, December 1, December 1, Ludus was having this event. You get to have a free miniature. You can drop by, get a free miniature. In this case, it was a Stormcast Eternal Liberator, and yeah, and Sir Freddy was there. Josh Flores from Pilipintados. I just happened to be there attending a concert, and then, oh, okay, so this is happening right now at BGC, and before I knew it, I was there painting my very first mini, and it was fun. And so to those who, if there are any non gamers watching this live or after the fact, I'll tell you, it's so easy to paint a mini. This is the first time I ever did it, and I was done in an hour and a half or less. I think it was less. So yeah, that's my
My
first ever
first
mini.
Space Marine was done in like half an hour. Pero that's, a Space Marine. It's so much easier than a Liberator.
Really?
Yeah, it's paint the entire thing one color and then trim.
Oh, right, right.
Yeah, it's
Well,
a Space Marine.
yeah, the Stormcast Liberator has three colors. And fun fact, you'll see. Okay, I'll show you later my current work in progress, and yeah, later. It's a bit of a
Yeah, yeah.
surprise.
It's near the end of the slides.
Yeah, near the end of the
Okay,
slides.
here we
Okay, so
go. The
that's
Daughters of
yeah.
Doom.
Doors came, my very first warband. This took me a week, like a week, because okay, here's the thing: when you and your friends have an agreement that you will meet on this day and you will
Yes,
play a game,
God's yes. It will make
so
you paint.
I got this kit on a I got okay. Here's the thing. Later we'll talk about how to get started, no. But this is not a beginner-friendly warband because I had to get three different kits, three different boxes for variety's sake. So I got three kits on a Saturday, and we had until the following Saturday to get everything done, have our warbands finished, and start whacking. Okay, and yeah, I was able to do it. But there's that pressure. I've done this before. Like I was able to do my very first kill team of six primary space marines in 2 days. In 2 days, but that was during the Christmas holidays of 2019. This was when I had work. This is a non-holiday. Like I was working, like, and it was my first time painting minis of well of the of this size of that size, and there's so many details. Like one witch elf has, we can count. She has one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, six different colors, and something that small has six parts, seven parts, I think, eight,
Yeah,
eight very small parts, very fiddly. It was a nightmare rushing it, but I got it done. Was able to play my first game the following weekend.
yeah. Ganyan din ako eh. Like, right before a game, I scramble to get everything painted. Like, for my birthday this year, I actually invited like two people to play in my garage, like
Yeah,
40K, and I managed to paint like 1,500 points of Dark Angels in like 3 nights.
you're wild.
Yeah,
You're
it
wild.
was Deathwing and Ravenwing pa, so like yeah, it was not easy, pero I got it done. Like kulang ako ng siguro details on one or two minis, pero like it was like tabletop quality for the most part. And I
Yeah,
noticed that you went like darker skin, pink hair Gyaru for these ladies. Is
indeed.
that like a personal preference of yours? Is that how we recommend you anime?
Yeah, kinda. Because one, I wanted a little bit more representation in terms of different skin colors, and I want them to look sort of Filipino, traditional Filipino kayumanggi skin.
Ah,
No? So
yes, Filipinos traditionally do have pink hair.
yes,
That's a racial trait.
and it had the nice effect of making the brighter colors pop as
Yes, it
compared
does.
to having them make them
Pale
have
flesh.
lighter, yeah, pale skin. So yeah, we have a comment from Michael Lim. Yeah, GW made Warcry starting war bands. Definitely. um, there are Warcry starting boxes. I think I forgot to put pictures of that, but there are.
Yeah, it's fine. We can get to those pagdating natin dun sa what to buy.
Yeah, later.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Michael Lim is right. There are Warcry starting war bands. It's just that I didn't go with those because the faction that I want didn't have the box yet.
Didn't have a starter box, yeah.
Not yet. They would have it a few months later. But anyway, that's another story.
Yeah, impatience lang talaga.
Yeah, patience lang
Okay.
talaga.
So yeah, here they are in all their glory.
Yes.
So do you ever plan to base these ladies?
Yes, I finally decided on what my uniform base color will be, and yeah, you'll see it later when you check out my work in progress warband.
Okay, okay. All right, so learning Warcry. This is where I'm going to actually be interested in listening since, I never actually got a tutorial. So please teach us what these pictures and symbols mean.
All right, sige. So first things first, a game of Warcry can last anywhere between 20 to 45 minutes. Okay, 20 to 45 minutes, and that includes setup. That includes the pre-mission things that you need to do. And yeah, I think my shortest game was 20 minutes. It was between Iron Jaws and Daughters of Cain, and it was a slobber knocker of a match, and ended very quickly. So that's the thing to remember about Warcry. It's not just easy to learn and easy to get into. It's also very easy to get multiple games in. And if you just really wanted to do something in between different games, or if you really only have time for one game, setup is really fast, like 5 minutes. You have your board, and then not even so, you'll be looking at a maximum no more than an hour, no more than an hour, and that's for a four-player game. Okay, so yeah, so we're gonna take a look now. We're not really gonna go through all of the rules of Warcry. I think the most important thing that people need to know is the activation system and what your characters do. So team building, we'll start with team building. You're gonna need a roster of uh, a war band of 3 to 15 models. Okay, so 3 to 15 models from that same faction. Now you also have a point limit. So later, when we get to the very end of this show, we're gonna do a sample team building exercise. Wow, this is an office team building
Yes,
exercise.
team building.
Yes, team building. Trust
Ultimate
all.
bonding experience.
Oh my gosh,
Oh
cringe.
yeah.
Anyway. So 1,000. You have 1,000 points, and you're gonna look at your faction list and select as many models as you can fit the into the 1,000 points.
Yeah. There's no
Um,
model limit, ba?
there is no model limit except for your leader. Okay, so you're
Okay.
going to have a leader, and that leader can only be chosen from an even more specific list. So, for example, in the Daughters of Cain, you have your regular units, and then you also have leaderable units. So there are units that are considered your leaders, and you'll
Okay.
have to pick from those. Now, the thing about the leaders is that most of the time, most of the time, the leaders in a faction are just upgraded versions of the regular units. So in the Daughters of Cain, there's a witch elf, and then there's a hag. The hag is just the leader version of the witch elf. And then if you saw one of my other figs from earlier, there's this snake lady. Maybe we can go back just very quickly. Very
Snack
quickly.
lady.
Yeah, there you go. So there's a
Snack
snake.
lady.
Okay, so there are two snake ladies at the back. The
Snack
one with the
lady.
pink, yeah, the one with the pink hair is the regular version, and then the one with the blue hair, the Hatsune Miku version, it really has blue hair. Okay, it really has a blue hair. That's the
We
leader version. Okay, we okay, so that's the Gorgon version of the regular. Wow, I keep forgetting the name of the snake ladies. Whatever. Okay, so going back. So now let's talk about. So now that you have your list. Oh, one more thing. One more thing. What's great about building lists in Warcry is the flexibility. So, for example, you have your Sentinels of Order Grand Alliance. If you pick your faction from, so for example, if once you pick a faction from, so you first choose your Grand Alliance. Then from that Grand Alliance, you choose the warband that you want to use. So in my case, it's Daughters of Cain. Now, there are alliance systems. There are alliance systems. one of them pointed it out earlier in the comments. There are alliance systems, and you can have a guest hero. Okay, so one model, a hero, and that model can be any leader type model from another faction in the same
In
uh,
the same book.
in the same book, in the same Grand Alliance. So for example, this dude, uh, yeah. So we have a close up picture of him later. So this
Yes.
dude,
I
from the
remember.
storm, with the burb, no, from the Stormcast Eternals Vanguard Chamber. Um, this is a Raptor. He's the leader of the warband I'm building right now. He can actually slot into my Daughters of Cain warband as a guest. So that's the fun part about Warcry. So now we can really talk about the stats. So you see here the anatomy of a card. It's not that hard to figure out. Um, we'll start with so the one with the arrow. So one, you have the image, you have the faction rune mark that tells you what faction it belongs to. Not necessarily the Grand Alliance, no, but as long as it's in the same book, they're in the same Grand Alliance. Okay, and
Yeah.
then the move
One
characteristic.
second.
Yeah,
Guys in the comments, can you tell us if you can read the stuff on the on the card, or if we need to increase the image size? Please let us know in the comments, Halang. Right? Continue, Teacher Mikey.
okay, sige. So the first value that we'll be talking about is the move characteristic. That's the number of inches that this character can move when it chooses the move action. No? So we'll talk about actions and activations later. Toughness characteristic. This is something that many 40k players are familiar with. Toughness just determines how tough you are. No, how hard it is to wound you. So we'll talk about how that works later. Um, and then wounds characteristic up to how much damage you can take. No, so in skirmish combat games of this type, and you'll see this also later in the new Killteam. A model like this in the big army game would typically have one wound. It takes one damage and it's dead. But that's because it's part of a big unit, a bigger unit. No? But in the skirmish combat game, you see things happen in a smaller scale. So while this model normally has one wound in the big army game, in Warcry it has 15 wounds, and that's the amount of damage it can take from attacks before it kicks the bucket. Right? And then the point value, yeah, how many points it is on your warband, and you have a 1,000 point limit. Fighter's first weapon. So most, I think, all of the models in Warcry have two types of attacks. No, um, oh, there's only some have one. Some have one. If I'm yeah, the witch elves only have one. But so
Coughs and zombies and skeletons.
yeah, and the skeletons. Yeah, so but so you'll see here. There's a first and a second attack, and we will break this down. Okay, we will break this down. Um, So you get the image of the type of weapon it is, and then the first number, uh, the one with the arrow and the circle, that's your range. Okay, that tells you up to how many inches away your target can be to be able to hit with that attack. The sword, that's the attack's characteristic. It tells you how many dice. Okay, how many attack dice you will roll. And how do we resolve that later? We will have a step-by-step breakdown of how combat happens. Okay? And then the fist is the strength of that attack. It tells you how powerful the hit is. You know? And it is compared to the toughness value of the target. Again, we will explain how that works later. And then the skull, okay, the halved skull, that's the damage characteristic of that weapon. And why are there two values? So the first value, so in this case with the club, it's 2 damage regular, and then there's 4 damage critical. Criticals happen on a attack roll of 6. So anytime you get a result of 6, instead of the regular damage, you'll be dealing the critical damage, the larger of the two. Okay? So, and you can see on this particular model, there are two types of weapons. Um, this girl has a close combat attack and a ranged attack. And what you'll notice is that ranged attacks typically are less powerful than um, close range attacks. And then finally, you have the rune mark. No, the rune mark, it tells you the kind of abilities that a character can use. No, and we will talk about that later. No, when it comes to the turn structure, and so we're not going to go in depth. There are actually a lot of videos online that can teach it better. But we're here to really just talk about how quick the resolutions are. But we will still go through some of the phases. So let's look at the different phase also. So before we talk about the face off, basically in Warcry, what happens is you take alternating turns with your opponent. No, a game will last anywhere between 3 to 4 rounds, depending on, or even 5 if there are ties. No, but typically 3 rounds. No, and you and your opponent take alternating turns, choosing one model from your warband and activating it. And upon activating, that model has two actions that it can do and can repeat. No? So, for example, your model can be, once it activates, it can either spend its two actions on moving, attacking, okay, retreating, no, or any other. And in some missions, I believe, no, there are ways for you to spend your action, no, to perform certain things. No? But for the most part, what you really care about is moving and attacking and retreating. Those, or waiting. No, if a model decides to wait, it's basically saving up its second action for later. No, so you're trying to be more strategic about it. Okay, we have our friend Eric, Eric,
Yes.
and Juno, who are watching right now. No? So from our Dragonforge people.
Yeah. So
So
please do listen to Eric. Like he is wise and has good advice.
yes, he is a wise man,
Very wise man. Note the beard.
a,
Beards
a man
indicate
of
wisdom.
much knowledge, no? And he plays Caradron Overlords, no? So the capitalist dwarves of the mortal realms, the capitalist balloon dwarves who love their beard.
Oh yes.
So going back, so again, alternating turns with your opponent to activate one model, and once a model activates, it has two actions which it can spend for moving, attacking, or retreating. No? So we're not going to go into much detail, but um, the actions can be repeated. So, for example, if your model can move 4 inches, you can what you can do is move 4 and then move 4 again, or you can attack and attack again, or you can move and attack, or you can attack and move. So you can spend your
Okay.
actions in any sequence.
I have a question. Since you alternate models to do an action, is it an advantage to have more models than your opponent?
Definitely. Okay, definitely. So we're already delving a little bit into strategy, but in Warcry, you you definitely have the advantage if you have a lot of models, no? And this makes the game a little more skewed towards hordes. And one of the more dangerous factions that we have in Warcry are rats. Steven.
Skaven.
Yeah, I mean Skaven, particularly the plague monks, they they're kind of weak, no. But there's plenty of them, no. They can gang up on you, and when they roll a critical, it deal. So normally they will deal 1 damage, but if you get a critical, I think they'll be dealing 4 damage. And in
Wow.
Warcry, that's a lot, no. That's a lot for a small model of 75 points, no. So you can easily run 15 15 different rats and totally overwhelm your opponent. No? And that's something of a design flaw, I think. I hope in the next edition of Warcry that can be addressed because in the new kill team, which we will have a show about very
Yeah,
soon,
yeah.
um, that has
They
been
did address
addressed. No?
that. Yeah, with
It has
your
been addressed.
action point limit
Yeah, and the action point
or
limit. No,
apples.
so
Yes.
but definitely having numbers helps, especially when it because Warcry, like most war games, and especially in skirmish combat games, it's not about killing, killing, killing. You know, it's all about accomplishing the objectives. You know, you actually win by accomplishing objectives and winning by points, not just by wiping out your opponent. Although in some cases, there are victory conditions where you need to kill, but it's still points based. It's still points based, and there are many ways to gain points in the game of Warcry, and it'll be much easier for you to do that if you have
With
more
a lot of
models.
models. Yeah.
Uh,
Finally,
so yeah,
GW doesn't hate me.
yeah.
Yeah.
So um, okay, so we have some meta related questions. We
Yeah.
will
We'll
get to
get to
those
those
in a bit.
later. Yeah.
Yeah, we will get to those in a bit. So we'll just explain how combat works now. So again, you've learned everything you need to learn for the core rules of Warcry. Alternating activations, I move one, you move one, uh, and upon activating two actions, you can move, attack, attack, move, or attack, attack. Okay, so we got that out of the way. Now, how does combat actually work in Warcry? So we're going to use these two models as examples. One is from the K Knight Shadow Stalkers, and one is from the fiery dudes who come from this box.
Yeah.
Oh my
It's from
goodness!
the. Is that the new Warcry starter set?
Yeah, it's from the new Warcry set. No, so this box. Yeah, I keep forgetting the name because I don't want to play them, but they have very cool models. So we have these two models. So for example, the big snake lady. I actually know their names. They're in my book, but I'm
Is
not
that a
gonna say
snake
it.
or a centipede? It looks more like a centipede.
That's
Pigmented.
definitely a snake. And you know what? I'm going to do my job properly and, and get their names because it's very important. Let's see. This is from the K9 Shadow Stalkers, which should be after my faction, which is before the Iduneth. Okay, here you go. The
Shell.
Shroud Queen. This is the Shroud
Okay.
Queen going up against the fiery dudes of they are not the unmade, the science of the flame. There you go. So later we're gonna talk about the books as well. So we got the Shroud Queen versus the Inferno Priest. Tess. Yeah. Okay. So we have the Shroud Queen going up against the Inferno Priest. So, for example, your Shroud Queen chooses to use her. So they're both at 4 inches away from each other. Let's assume that. Let's assume that they are 4 inches away from each other, and it is the. For example, I'm playing the K9 Shadow Stalkers. I activate the Shroud Queen first, and for my first action, I decide to move into range. No, I move 6 inches to get into the range of uh, the Inferno Priest, and I used her range attack, which has a range of 4 inches. So I measure with my tape. Yep, she is within range. And then attacks characteristic of three. I will roll three six-sided dice. Okay, three six-sided dice, and the strength of that attack is four. Okay, four, and I will come. So I roll my dice. Okay, but what result am I looking for? Okay, how will I know that it's a success? That's where I compare the strength value, the fist, okay, to the toughness or the shield icon of the target. So the Shroud Queen is attacking with a strength 4 attack and comparing it to a toughness of 4, the Inferno Priestess of 4. Now, here's the thing. If the strength of the attack is equal to the toughness of the target, okay, you will succeed on hitting the opponent on on a result of 4 and up. Okay? On the result, so if your strength is equal to the toughness of the target, your dice rolls, they will hit on a result of 4 or better. And on a 6, it becomes a critical.
Critical.
So, okay? So, we're clear, no? Now,
Yeah.
so any
And if
questions so
your
far?
strength is lower naman, it's 5 plus, and if your strength is higher, it's a 3 plus, a la 40
Yes.
players.
Yes. So, for example, we were able to, so I was able to get 3 successes. Okay, I was able to get 3 successes, no criticals. I was able to get a result of 4, 5, and 4. And each of those dice will hit for 2 damage. No? And that will bring their Inferno Priestess to 9 wounds. Right? So damage is permanent. No, it can. There are ways to remove damage. We'll talk about abilities later. No, so this brings her wounds down to 9, and then it passes to my opponents. For example, Kesh will activate the Inferno Priestess and would like to respond in kind. Now, she is in a prime position to attack twice. No, she doesn't need to move into range. The Shroud Queen did that herself. No? So, that's something you have to be careful about. Um, if you get into attacking range of an enemy model, and you're not able to, and it's kind of rare to down something on just on the first attack. You'll have to be fishing for criticals. So now you have the Inferno Priestess retaliating, and she'll be attacking twice. Now, um, the only weapon that she can use without moving is her range attack. No, so it's some sort of magic attack, as you can see with the fire icon. It has a range of 5. Okay, so we're looking at the second attack. Sorry, at the first attack, range of 5, and attacks characteristic of 2. So she will be rolling 2 dice. Has a strength value of 3, and with a damage characteristic of 2, and deals 4 on a critical. And Kesh rolls his dice, right? And what he's looking for, so he will roll his 2 attack dice, and the result that he'll be looking for, like what he explained earlier, is a result of a 5 and up. Okay,
Yes. So it will
so
probably be a 5 and a 6. For that is the way
it's
I usually roll.
yeah. So Kesh has extremely good luck on this particular roll, and no, and again, strength. The strength of this attack is 3, and the toughness of the target is 4. So it's lower. It's a weaker attack. It's a weak attack.
Yes.
Okay, and the Shroud Queen can take it. However, so what you're imagining here is how good the attack is at piercing the armor of the target. No, so theoretically, you can say that the Shroud Queen is very tough. No, but it's just that um, there are, but it just tells you the chances of being able to get through that armor, or maybe find a chink in that armor that you can get the hit in. Okay, so that's what happens here. Kesh is able to roll a 5 and a 6. Both are hits, and one of them is a critical hit. No? And that will deal a total of 6 damage. The Shroud Queen, bringing her to 14 wounds. No, but then that's only her first attack, and Kesh decides to make her attack for a second time. But unfortunately, this time the result was a 4 and a 3, and both are misses, and will not deal any damage. So that's basically how it works. Okay, so
Right. I have a
yeah,
question on these. Does it
sure.
matter if your attack is like a magic attack or like a flaily attack? Do these matter, or they're just like images that help you contextualize the weapons?
It just they don't really have any direct effects on the game.
Okay, okay.
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah. Okay, okay.
Not yet. We might see some expansions where the attack type would matter. They actually have names in the core rule book. So these attacks, these icons, they actually have names. But again, they're just there to help you visualize what happens.
Okay,
So
so
yeah,
their names aren't actually flaily, stabby, zappy, and smashy.
not really. Now,
Okay.
and again, if you look at the cards, if you look at the 2 attacks, again, you will see that range attacks typically are weaker in the
And
sense
the
that
melee attacks.
yeah, they either have less number of attacks or have a lower strength value. And in many cases, the melee attacks, the trade-off for needing to be in close is that they deal more damage, usually on a critical. Okay, so let's look at our second face-off. This time it's from the. So these are both chaos factions. One is one is the Cipher Lords, and one of my game designer friends, he's Syra Aspiras. We have a picture of it later. He plays Cipher Lords, and this is Iron Golems. Sir Freddy, Sir Freddy is an Iron Golems faction. So we're gonna compare these two: the Thrall Master versus the na, 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 versus the Ogre Breacher. So yeah, so we have the Breacher versus the Thrall Master. Okay, so this is a case of two models with having only one type of attack. They're both melee, but they have ways to make up for that lack. They do have abilities. We will get into abilities later, but not into too much detail. Later when we get to the team building exercise. Team building exercise. Okay, so um, compared to the other models that we saw earlier, you're looking at really big values because really big point values. One of these is a leader. One of these is a leader, the Thrall Master, and the Breacher is 235. If you buy a box of Iron Golems, you get one of them, but nothing's stopping you
Yeah,
from
he's super
having
chunky, oh. 30
yeah,
wounds.
super chunky, but also super slow and the absence of any range attack. Okay, so we have here really huge numbers. Again, if they were to confront each other, the Thrall Master with an impressive 5 attacks will so they'll need to both get into base contact or at least 1 inch away, within 1 inch of each other. Um, that's a very dangerous thing in Warcry, especially with how powerful melee close combat attacks can be. No? And it's not really looking too good, no? In this face off. The Thrall Master moves in, spends one, so I activate my Thrall Master, moves within striking distance, 1 inch of the Ogre Breacher. There, I will be rolling 5 attacks. No, I will be rolling 5 attacks, but they are at and the damage output is kind of big on the critical. That's a 6. That's a really good number. However, with a strength of 4 versus the 5 toughness of the Ogre Beacher, Iron Golems have the smallest value for their smallest toughness value is 4, and they have an ability that can make it go up to 6.
Wow.
Okay? And that makes it really hard to hit them sometimes. So here, I'll be looking again for Kesh because strength is lower than toughness. I will succeed on rolls of
The 5-6?
a 5 and a 6. Okay?
That is correct.
So, and for example, statistically, it will be very, very hard, but statistically as well, I'll be able to get in 2 hits. And then maybe one of them is a critical, that's a total of 8 damage. But that will only bring the Ogre Breacher to 66% of its health. It'll go
Yeah.
down to 22. And in retaliation, the Ogre Breacher, which is now in base contact or in engagement range, has a full 2 attacks. Has a full 2 attacks. Decides to use an ability that will increase the number of attacks by 1. So he's now attacking with. He now has an attack characteristic of 3, and is actually capable of knocking out the Thrall Master if he scores 2 criticals and 1 regular hit. Okay, but even then, even if he fails to knock out the Thrall Master on the first attack, he still has a second attack and can crush it to a pulp. So that's how the combat mechanics in Warcry work in the nutshell.
Okay. That's pretty cool. Kaya lang,
And
I was
yes,
kind of turned off like about his low number of attacks. Pero like, as you say, I think abilities are the ones that compensate for that.
Yeah.
So
So we'll talk
get
about abilities later
yeah.
when we get to the team building. And also initiative, the initiative system. I didn't talk about initiative yet because I think some people would assume that, yeah, we just roll off. Yes, you do roll off, but it will matter. There's a kind of different way. There's a very funky way of doing it in Warcry, which we will talk about when we get to the team building exercise. Okay. So
Okay.
yeah, so here are photos of some of my. So this is my very first game. Um, oh no, this is my second game. Yeah, this is my second game of Warcry ever, and it's a triple threat match between uh, Daughters of Cain, Demons of
Demons
Corn,
of Cain.
and Corvus Cabal. Yeah, so you can think of the storyline as everyone going after the Daughters of Cain before they awaken their goddess into her new form. Right. So yeah, I also I also won that one. This is my very first game of Warcry, which I totally lost. Which I totally lost because I was actually just controlling my war band was 6 nerdlings and one
Oh
plague
god.
bearer. No range attacks whatsoever. This is a fatal 4-way with so Thomas, Cyril, and Sir Freddy. Sir Freddy Tan, from Ludus. Uh, happily indulged us in a fatal 4-way. And I got wrecked. I got wrecked.
Nerdlings. You're so
Oh,
adorable.
we were using Killteam tokens. How shameful. we, were, we were
So
using
are
Killteam.
tokens important in this game or can you play without them?
Okay, so here's the thing about Warcry. The only thing you really need to remember in Warcry is who moved and who hasn't, and how much damage they already have. That's it.
Okay, so
So
as long as you have ways to mark that, that's okay.
yeah,
Okay.
but I think in tournaments it would matter if you had the official tokens. But as long as you're able to mark them properly and there's a clear designation, shouldn't be fine. It should be fine, especially in casual
Yeah.
games.
Like honestly, if we have tournaments at the Forge again for Warcry, I'd probably let you use any token you want as long as it's clear with your opponent.
Yeah, it's something you can have a gentle person's agreement at the start
Yeah.
of the game.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and then this is my last game before the spike and the new strains. This is my yeah. So I just happened to be at UP Town at closing time to do some last minute groceries and chanced upon Johan closing shop, and I prevented him from going home. Hey Johan, how about we have one game before you go? And so we had a very and indeed it was a very quick game. Lasted 20 minutes. Slobber knocker.
Alright.
I almost lost because what the thing of okay, so I was fighting against Iron Jaws, and I had this impression that they were kind of slow. But oh boy, how wrong was I? Because so Iron Jaws, the orcs, they don't really have range capabilities, but they can be deceptively fast. Like I was so stereotyped against orcs. They were slow and dumb, but in this game they
Nine.
were not.
They are
They
sneaky and fast.
Yes, they are sneaky, they are fast, and they hit hard, like
Yeah. Literally
hard.
no one who plays 40k or AoS who plays against 40k or AoS orcs assume that orcs are slow. They have so many ways to like speed up.
Yeah, so yeah, I got a few of my girls got wait, I can't say that. Got
Splatted.
splatted. I was about to say the other word. I got splatted. Okay, so
Yeah, let's use
but
splatted.
yeah, got splattered. Almost lost the game, and the reason it went to 20 minutes only because the turns were really fast. The turns were really fast. Uh, we got to the action right away, and it was just a matter of piling the bodies onto the objectives. But I very nearly lost because suddenly those iron jaws were surrounding me, and there was the element of luck that even though those iron jaws are capable of splattering me very easily, I was rolling pretty well. Oh, I mean, well, my opponent was not rolling well, and we're missing those
Hmm.
attacks. So got away by the skin of my teeth. Good positioning, superior numbers, and yeah. So I was able to recover, but That was quite a shock.
Yeah,
And
it's a
then the
dice
spike
game.
happened.
So dice games talaga are all about luck eh. Like you can
Yeah,
stack the deck in your favor, but if Lady Luck hits you,
yeah,
wala na
and
tayong magagawa dyan.
yeah. But the thing, I guess, what makes skirmish games great is that it's easier for you to predict those percentages because there are fewer dice to think about. It's easier for you. Parang the spikes, no, the spikes of the dice rolls are easier to manage compared to when rolling bucketfuls of dice. No? So, and in Warcry, it's really put on show. It's a very simple game. Uh, you do this, you do that, things happen, bodies hit the floor, and suddenly the game is over before you know it. A chaotic time, a really chaotic time.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah,
two-player games, super bilis, 20 minutes.
yeah. Especially if you're, especially if you're, what do you call this? You're both melee. You're both melee
Melee
factions
factions.
that really want to get in close and personal. So you're always rolling dice. You're not. You're always rolling dice. There are very few effective range attacks in Warcry. Most of them are in the Caradon Overlords and Stormcast Eternals, if I remember. Yeah, and the Ogre Maw tribes, the big dudes.
Yeah. Wala pa ba dito yung ano? The ones we all hate, the prissy Lumineth elves. Sorry, Eric. Fuck your
Ah,
army.
the no, Lumineth Realm Lords are in Warcry already. They were
Okay.
they got their stuff in the Sentinels of Order book, but
Mhm.
then they got along with the new War Scroll book and the new model line, they got an updated PDF and it's free. It's free. You get your roster, the roster of Lumineth Realm Lords effectively tripled. Suddenly you have all of these choices, you have all of these cool looking units. No, I'm super tempted to start them, but I'm not too hot on painting white
Don't do
models.
it, Mikey. Don't do it.
I'm not gonna do
Don't
it.
go there.
I'm pretty satisfied with my two factions at the moment. No? But yes, Lumineth are here to stay, and looking at the numbers and looking at what they could do, yeah, they could wreck serious space. And Shining Company is strong. So Shining Company for the AOS players, it's pretty cool in the big army game, but in Warcry, Shining Company does really funky stuff that makes them into an impenetrable wall. You know? And they have
Okay.
the numbers. So
So, is it the same as in AOS right now that if your opponent brings a Lumineth army, just walk away?
well, not really. You can still get away with a lot of things. So yeah,
Okay, so we actually have a chance against Lumineth in this game.
yeah, we do. Just no battle reports yet online
Yeah.
because they came
Okay.
out a few months ago. So yeah, how about we look at the questions that we have, no, before we get done?
Yeah, sige. I think a lot of this will be relevant after we do the ano, the team building.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Kasi yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
people are still asking about Kyrodon,
Yeah, yeah.
Seraphons. Yeah. Sige, yeah. We'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah.
We'll
By
get
the
to
way,
that in a
guys,
bit.
this that over here, that's Dr. Go, not to be confused with the other Christopher Go, who's currently the first lady. So, like, this is the good Christopher Go, okay? This Christopher Go we like.
Hey, you know what? Let's stay on that photo for a bit longer, no?
Okay, okay.
So you can see how small that map is, no?
Yeah,
In
it's
relation to
tiny.
the four players. Yeah. So 5 minutes to put together. 5 minutes to put together. 20 to 45 minutes to play, and you'll never feel too bad about losing because you didn't put in too much time and energy into one game. And I mean, this doesn't make Warcry a dumb game. There's still a lot of thinking to be involved, but the complexity is scaled back in favor of pace, action, and intensity. And you get all of that in 20 to 45 minutes. If you lose, it's not doesn't feel so bad. You can just play another game, and you can get a lot of games in the
Yeah.
same afternoon.
And like props to Topi for like actually painting up the entire terrain set. Like you rarely see fully painted terrain sets anywhere. Like super props to Topi. Good job,
Yeah.
Doctor Go.
Oh, wait till you see my terrain,
Hello.
which I paid someone to do. Anyway,
I
anyway,
was gonna ask if you wanted to paint ours then eh.
money. Anyway, see again.
Okay.
What do we have
So we
next?
have a question from Eric that I can answer right now. Okay, Cash, is this the real reason you haven't given me my twins yet? No, Eric. They really haven't arrived. I do not let saltiness get in the way of money. So like if you order the cheesiest thing ever, I will hate you, but I will get it for you.
I miss the Dragonforge.
Yeah,
Okay,
same.
and so yeah, so this is my Ateneo Losal warband that I'm building right now. You got the archers and you got the eagles on the same team. And if you'll notice, this is
That's
in the same color
heresy.
heresy, and you'll notice this is in the same color scheme as my very first mini that I painted, and that's in homage to that. And really, ever since I heard about Warcry, I've been thinking of finding a way I've been thinking of finding a home for my Stormcast Eternal Liberator. I didn't want to get into Age of Sigmar because I was knee deep in Killteam in 40k. But when I found out about Warcry and found out that I can actually mix my Liberator with different Grand Alliance warbands, I was super happy. And now that I'm starting an actual Stormcast Eternals warband, yeah, so my hammer and shield guy and fit in just fine. Yay. So that's my primary reason for doing this.
Right.
And birds. I want to play with birds.
Burbs are great, man.
Yes, birds are great. Who doesn't love birds?
I know people who are scared of birds. So,
Kaka.
all right. So this is my current warband naman.
Oh,
Like
here we go.
I have no idea how they play it. I've just been painting the models as we needed them in the box set which shall not be named. Uh but
The
I've basically been painting them while playing Final Fantasy 14 in between like unskippable cutscenes. So like one Gaius Van Belsar speech is roughly equivalent to one Skeleton Warrior. And
oh,
these are actually a lot more complex than the old Skeleton Warriors because there's a lot of detail on them. The old ones were just like contrast plop done. I'm
so
also doing the.
all of
Hmm?
those models from that box are actually Warcry usable.
Yes, they are.
That is
Um,
very cool. That is very cool.
yeah. It really shows that they were really planning to continue the thing, and something happened. Someone
Yeah.
fucked up real bad.
Let's just call this game the Unfortunate Township.
The
The
Vexed
Unfortunate,
Village.
the Vexed Village.
Alliteration is important.
Okay.
I'm eventually planning on like basing my entire Death Grand Alliance in snow. But until like the other day, I couldn't find my snow, but I finally found my snow. I'm using the Army Painter Battlefield Snow, which you can get at the Dragonforge. Okay. Reverse cameras are weird. Okay, so
Still available. Still available.
yes,
Yeah, that's a fine looking warband. Yeah, that would have been another good reason to get Vexed Village. It's a 3-in-1 thing. You get half an army. You get half an army for death. You get Warcry models, and you have your board game pieces. So
yeah.
yeah, very
Masakit lang
unfortunate.
really is you don't have enough zombies to make a full squad for AoS. But
Oof!
now they do have like a home in my Warcry warband.
Won't there be a start collecting for Soul Blight Grave Lords.
There already is. It's
Oh, there
Graveguard,
already is.
the new White King on horse,
Yeah.
and I believe Black Knights, which are the only garbage unit in the entire battle tome.
Oh, JP Vergara Buencamino is watching. Yeah, he also has a copy of Vexed Village and has gotten started on his death stuff.
Yeah,
So yeah,
you have a copy of Vexed Village. You have like already Warcry Warband. Like, we'll get to that later. Here actually,
yeah.
in a few we'll get to that. Like, we'll tell you how to build like a warband out of the Vexed Village set,
Yeah,
since
Tribute.
that's actually how I'm gonna be starting off. Plus, some wolves. I actually used the if you
Are
notice,
there
this is
wolves?
not the dire wolf from from the normal dire wolf set. This is actually the Fenrisian wolf, which I like because it's I can I wanted to make it a bit ghostly, and I got these before the release of the new set, so I'm just gonna go like all out on these guys.
Okay, that's criminal. They didn't. They don't have dire wolves in.
They don't
There's no
have dire
Warcry.
wolves.
Yeah, there's no
Why?
Warcry dire wolves.
No, I am sad.
That's
Okay,
sad.
so everything
That's
here
sad.
except the dire wolf is playable in a.
Oh,
I am so sad
oh,
now. I'm quitting Warcry. Just
sadness. Yeah, sabi nga ni Michael Lim, Underworlds is better than Warcry, which is better than AoS. Oh, oh.
I
But,
actually enjoy AoS more than Underworlds. Though right now I actually do enjoy AoS more than 40k. But that's just me.
yeah, we're not gonna get into a debate
Yeah, yeah.
about
Like
that.
different people like prefer AoS, different people prefer 40k, different people prefer Underworld, some people prefer Warcry, some people are skirmish simps. Like we each have our different likes and dislikes. We're not gonna do like an objective tier list because that is the way to hell. And yeah, we don't want to go there.
Yeah, what we are going to do later on in another episode is we're gonna show you the pros and cons. Like we're going to put a measure on
Yeah,
different aspects of enjoyability in a game. So in terms of modeling, gameplay, game length, collectability. So those things. Those are things that people look for in a game, and we will measure those to help people to help guide people into making their wargaming and hobbying choices. So
yeah,
and that includes Underworld. So I
yeah,
really enjoy Underworld. So but
yeah.
I
Look forward to that in like a future video.
oh okay sorry Michael Lim I totally misunderstood that graphic earlier. So
Ah, yeah.
start with
Okay, okay.
Underworld.
We thought it
Okay.
was like a better than. Okay, okay, okay.
Okay.
So
So
it's
excuse us.
arrows.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yes. Okay. We apologize, Michael. We apologize. But yes. Yeah. So when we talk about the getting started, Michael Lim has a very good tip here. We should flash that, no? Since we're about to go to that slide anyway.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah. You should
Yes.
definitely start with Warhammer Underworlds, especially if you're transitioning from like a card game like Magic the Gathering.
Definitely.
Um,
Definitely.
yeah, and then you can go to Warcry, which is honestly one of the simplest skirmish games out there. Is it,
Super.
or
Super.
is
It
there
is.
something more
It
simpler,
must.
or is
It
there
must
something
be.
simpler?
It must be the simplest, yet one of the most fun experiences of any game of any type that I've ever had.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, yeah, you can quote me on that.
That's pretty high praise, from a game designer.
I, yeah, I guess. Yes.
Yeah, like you really like your Warcry.
I really love my Warcry, but not as much as I love the new Killteam, which we will talk about soon.
In another video.
And
Um,
it hasn't even come out yet.
I
It hasn't even
know.
come out yet. I'm
Oh, by
already
the
in
way,
love.
here, you see the next step ni Michael here, then AOS. This is where you
Oh
are,
my
Mike.
goodness.
This is where you are, then AOS. So that's where
We'll
you
talk
start.
about that later. We'll talk about that
Yeah.
later as well. The
Okay.
scaling up,
Yeah, we can
definitely.
do an episode on like scaling up, like from the skirmish games. That's
Mm-mm.
actually an episode we should definitely do.
And I think it would be helpful that we can guide our viewers into making
Purchase
some sound,
decisions. Yeah.
purchase decisions. We're not making we're not going to make recommendations on what's good and what's bad, but we can say which is competitive, but we will focus on getting you started as quickly as possible, to transition as quickly as possible. And remember, meta chasing is for the faint of heart, and the meta will always change.
Yeah.
Rule of cool is best all the
Yes.
time.
Like Vian believed in Dreadnoughts for 3 editions before they finally became good. So
Yeah.
like he just hung on like to his Dreadnoughts and like to his scouts for 2 editions. But now they're garbage again. So like the whims of the meta are fickle. So just paint what you want, collect what you want, and like let no one tell you differently unless it's Kesh telling you not to play Lumineth.
We're so sorry, Eric. We're picking on you right now.
We
Cash is
love
picking
you,
on you.
Eric. I hate your army.
And everybody hates your feel no pains.
What, me? No, they hate the Death Guard feel no pains. Like mine doesn't work if you snipe my leaders.
Yours doesn't work.
Yeah, you snipe my leaders, we don't get to feel no pain.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah,
it's a
it's tied
hero
to our
aura.
heroes, eh. Yeah.
Right, right.
But we're not Death Guard. Death Guard are the disgustingly resilient ones.
Yeah.
Okay, so how to get started with Warcry?
Okay, I just realized one of those photos shouldn't be there anymore because it's like giving a false
Yeah,
promise.
this starter set is out of production, boys.
Yeah, the first starter set, which I have right here. Okay, so I'm just flexing.
Yeah.
Okay, so the
But
first,
if you want warbands in the first starter set, they are available separately. Like you haven't missed out on anything. Everything in the box is still available.
yeah. So we will look at these two starter sets, and I guess it's okay to compare. No, and it's not that we can hide the fact that a super good starter set for so 7,500. No, came out in 2019. And if you look at that photo, you see how densely packed that
It is.
board is.
Look at
No,
all that
it's just a
terrain.
yeah. Look at all of that terrain. No, and that's the kind of terrain that we played with Doctor Go. No, it was just jam packed with stuff. No, for 7.5, you could not it could not get any better than that. You know? Best bang for the buck. You get your core book, you get your tokens, and you'll see that there are cards. And sige, so the thing with Warcry is you can use the cards or you may not. The core book. So later we have alternative ways of starting Warcry now. But unfortunately, the 2019 starter set is out of production. There may be a few rare copies that will turn up every now and then. I actually got my Warcry 2019 in the middle of 2020, and that was just a chance encounter. That was just a chance encounter, never happened again. So, to the person who I beat to that box, I'm so sorry. I got the last one. I got the last one. But that's okay. That's okay. The 2020 Catacombs box. So it's not an expansion. It's an expanded starter box. And if you look at the contents, oh man, that box sucks. Look at all of that empty space in between the
Actually,
models.
I've been counting like the terrain pieces. Like, it seems to be the same. Kaya lang nakalabas sila. Like they're outside the mat. They're here on the
Yeah.
sides.
Okay. So this box, the Catacombs box. So let me explain to you why this is a little more expensive. No, and I think we have a copy at Dragonforge, no, or at least you can bring some more in. No? But
Yeah, we can
the
bring some more in.
yeah, the Catacomb starter box, it's at 9,350 or 9,450. That's a full 2,000 pesos more than the 2019 box. But what do you get? What do you actually get? Well, one, you get the amazing Catacombs book. Okay, it gives you alternative rules for playing Warcry in 2D. No, so kind of like Killteam Arena, Killteam Nexus. Okay, you get to play Warcry in 2D, so there's no such thing as elevation. No verticality. It's as if you're playing a top-down game. A top-down game.
Okay, so that's why they removed the
Y-
terrains with like two
Yeah,
levels.
yeah, because you can also play. So okay, so the outside terrain that you see, those are the ruins. That's half the terrain of the 2019 set. Okay, so I will repeat, no, a little bit of buyer beware, just to know what you're getting. Um, the ruins that you see outside of the 2D map, those are for the 3D version, the actual version of Warcry that we all know and love. And it is half of the contents, the terrain contents of the first set. But what do you make up? How do you make up for it? See that catacombs terrain? Those are super nice. No, those
The
are super
doors.
nice, especially when fully painted. Um, you can even use these They look like scattered terrain, but they are functional in games of 2D Warcry. They are doors. You have bridges, and you got a lot of scattered terrain. You got a lot of scattered terrain there that you can use for your Warcry games, for your AoS games, and even those doors you can repurpose them if you really don't want to play 2D Warcry.
I
And
particularly like those bridges.
oh yes, the bridges. Yeah, I should have pulled out the terrain, no, or put in the photos, but um, you're still getting good value in the catacombs box. You're just missing out on half of the ruins terrain, but again, it gets replaced by all of this nice dungeon terrain, and it's functioning. And then you get that book. You get that book with really nice mechanics. It has a new campaign contained inside, and it brings a totally new experience to the
Yeah.
Warcry game.
Okay. Eric actually has a really nice comment. Like they also use the catacomb box to foreshadow the
Mm,
big events in AOS.
there you go.
Yeah, and that's something they're doing in 40k na rin. They're tying up the kill team with the Octarius Warzone. So it's something that GW is actually moving towards, like more narrative linking between the different game systems, which
Yeah,
is
I
a
like that.
huge difference from like
I super like that.
the 20 years where the plot did not progress in 40k
Yeah,
like at all.
and with
With
retcons left
retcons
and
pa,
right.
with retcons, yes. The
Goodness.
retcons, for example.
So yun, you get this. You get a little. Okay, if you put everything together, you'll be getting just a little more extra terrain, and then you get this nice book. No, so combined, that's still a pretty good value box, and you also have to account for inflation. No,
Yeah,
so you also have to account for inflation. So the 9,450 that you'll be paying
yeah,
for the
and
catacomb starter,
they had Brexit pa and yeah, that
yeah, and
that was
Brexit.
yeah.
So these are things that we need to contextualize, no? And things don't get cheaper every year. In fact, they go up every year. You have Brexit, you have the pandemic, making things hard. So yeah, we're just totally justifying, but we wanted it to be grounded at least in
Yeah, in
facts.
real world context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another good comment from Eric here is that
Okay.
yeah, about the narrative, and also I'll say this: the factions that you get in the catacombs box are actually a lot prettier, and they're actually stronger than the ones in the first box. So if you're thinking in that way in terms of playability, versatility, and how nice the models are, I can really say that Catacombs is a step up from the 2019 box. You're really just missing out on the volume of terrain, but there are so many other terrain options for Warcry. There are terrain boxes that you can get.
Yeah. But then you're gonna go like, but Kesh and Mikey, what if I don't want like I already have a store where I can play at like after the pandemic, and like I don't want to buy like an entire set of terrain. How can I start Warcry? That's easy. You can just get a copy of the core book, a copy of your Grand Alliance book, which includes every like profile. That's relevant for your Grand Alliance. With some exceptions, na if they get updated, they usually release it in a free PDF. Like the Legions of Nagash recently got heated and got replaced by the Soulblight Gravelords. So they
Yeah.
released the Soul blah 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 the Soulblight
Dave
Gravelords PDF on Warhammer Community for free. So if you actually want to play Warcry with your Vexed Village box, you can just download the free PDF from Warhammer Community, which I did.
Yeah. Oh, and that's not all. Okay. If you also have a friend who wants to get into Warcry and one of you already has a copy of the core book, okay, again, it can be bought separately. It
Yeah,
can be bought separately. If one of you has a core rule book and all you need now are the units. So Tesh mentioned the Soul Blight Grave Lords, the free PDF, and then okay,
Mikey,
if
your
you're
audio is breaking up.
oops, hello, how am I?
Yeah,
Better.
try now. It's
Hello.
still kind of breaky.
Breaky. Okay.
Yeah,
Hello.
it's breaky.
Hello.
Yeah.
Are
So anyway, this is actually what brought me to Warcry. I wasn't into the chaos faction thing. Like, there were some pretty models, but I didn't want to start a new faction, and I want like I promised myself that if I played AOS, I will only play Death. Like that was my promise, like Death only. So like there was no Death here. So like I'm not gonna play Warcry. But then they released these things, and it's like, okay,
yeah,
I guess I'm playing Warcry. They originally released them in like card packs, but then they eventually went the better step of like bringing out full books, which is like better bang for your buck. And you can use your existing models from your existing armies,
yeah,
as well as if you want to just, for example, remember how Mikey spent like a lot buying three different kits for his Daughters of Cain? They actually have starter sets for for a lot of factions in Age of Sigmar for Warcry, which includes like a mishmash of models from different kits.
yes.
So that's a great way to start if you just want to start Warcry, and you can later use it if you want to scale up to AOS.
Oh yeah. We also get a bonus War Scroll. The Luminate Realm Lords. So if you really wanted to save money and you wanted two factions, get a core rule book, then download the two free faction PDFs. That's for so you got everything you need for two players to get started, and then just buy the relevant kits that you want,
Yeah, Mikey, your
and you're
audio
good.
is still kind of
Eh.
like yeah, you sound like a worse version of T-Pain.
Oh no. I like eating.
Yeah, that's why I said the worst version.
Okay, hello. How am I? How am I?
It's kind of like we can understand you, pero it's a bit breaky.
Yeah, it's fine. We're now at
Yeah,
we're near the end anyway. We're gonna
yeah,
help
we are
you
near the end.
do the building of your
Okay,
forehand.
so
Yay!
I actually snuck this onto the slideshow because like I have no idea what all of these things do, and I want to like build a Warcry warband. So Teacher Mikey is going to help me build a 1,000 point Warcry warband, and assume that I have everything here, with the clear exception of the Hell Knight and the Black Knight because they're garbage in like AOS. So I built mine as Hex Wraiths, which are also now garbage, but they look cooler, so it's Wraiths. Okay,
Okay.
so what do these mean? Like the double, etc. Guys in the comments, can you actually read this or nah? Yeah, the 10-second delay.
Okay. Hello.
Yes.
Am I good?
Uh, Still bad pero better. So that's fine, I guess. So anyone in the comments, if you can't, if it's blurry for you, and I'm going to post the link into the
Comments.
into the comment section.
Yeah. Let's just fix the
Yes.
audio.
Just let me like shift between three screens. All right. So I posted the link for the Soulbite Gravelords free PDF. So just go to www.warhammercommunity.com/wp-content uploads 2021. Yeah, yeah. So it's in the comments. So if like Eric, your eyes are old, um, you can just click to follow along. You can still hear the dulcet sounds of our voices. What and we're looking at the same thing as you are. So let's get to it. Like Teacher Mikey, what do these double things mean?
Okay, so we will go back to the initiative system, how it works in
Mhm.
Warcry. Every round, no, at the start of every round, you figure out initiative by rolling six-sided dice each. No, so you and your opponent will take six-sided dice and roll them, and you will group together the. You will see how many duplicates that you have of any result. So, for example, if I came up with two sixes, two so I could have two ones, three twos, and then a six. Okay, and so I have I have two ones, I have three twos, and a single six. So
Okay, how many
I will
dice ulit?
count six. So six
Six
six-sided
dice.
dice.
Okay.
Yeah. Next time I'll put a graphic. No, would have helped a lot.
Okay.
No? So
Well,
I
I
count the
did
number.
spring this on you, so
Yeah. So I'll count the number of singles that I have, and the opponent will do the same. The player with the most number of singles goes first. And if there's a tie, they will roll off. Okay? And why do the duplicates matter? No? So your duplicates, you will set them aside. No? You will set them aside um, into your ability pool. No? And that's what you will spend during that round to activate these abilities. So for example, sige, so I'll be reading from my cell phone. I was
Mhm.
staring at it earlier. So, for example,
Yeah, I have
uh,
three screens. So
so
yeah.
the first ability is the Shambling Horde. So you will, it says double. No, that means to activate this ability. So, for example, you activate one of your characters first, and
Mhm.
then you will declare that you will use an ability. So you take a double. So Shambling Horde requires a double. That means two dice
With the
of
same
the
value.
same value. Okay, and the value of the dice, no, the die face will matter because some abilities look for uh, the effect will vary depending on the number. So Shambling Ward,
Okay.
uh, if you spend two dice with the same value, a fighter can use this ability when they are within 6 inch of a visible friendly fighter with the leader rune mark. So one of the symbols. So the symbols that you see on the screen. So let's look at the data card. Let's look at some of the fighter cards. So you will see the list of rune marks on the fighter cards. It tells you
Yeah,
the
the
kind
one
of
on the side,
abilities
right?
that yes. So those will tell you what abilities that they can use. And let's go back. So for example, the Vampire Lord. We're looking at the Vampire Lord right now. She has the fly. She has the fly rune mark, and then she has the leader rune mark, which is the skull, in the sunburst, and then the big screaming skull. And that tells you the abilities that she can use. That means she can use um, Call the Crimson Feast, which requires a triple or three dice of the same value. Okay,
Okay.
and
So
so
we
going back to
basically so when we're playing, we basically want a copy of this as well as our Warcry War, like the cards, right?
yeah,
So that we can
definitely
mix and match the pictures.
yeah. So yun, going back to the Shambling Horde, this fighter can make a bonus move action of a number of inches equal to the value of the ability. Okay?
Okay.
So yeah, so those are the things that you need to consider during the initiative phase of the round. Um, how will you group your dice? Because actually, you are allowed to group them separately. No, so if you have, for example, you get four twos, you can actually group them together into a quad ability, or you can separate them into two piles of doubles. That's allowed.
Okay.
Okay, that's allowed. And then you also get a free wild die every round. One wild die, and that one wild die can be
Counts
assigned
as
any
one.
value, and added to any of your piles. And it can even increase the number of singles that you have. You can increase the number of singles that you have if you want to break a tie. If you really want to get the jump on your opponent, you can use the wild die to increase your number of singles. And you can only use one wild die every round. But you
Yeah.
can
Uh,
they can accumulate.
yeah. As a general rule, though, the number of singles does increase right after Valentine's Day. A lot of breakups then.
Yes. Oh, sorry, I'm wrong. You can use multiple singles at once. Sorry, multiple. I'm mixing things up. You can use multiple wild dice at once, but you can only increase the number of dice in a particular grouping once. So, for example, I have two wild dice. Okay, I have two wild dice, and I have a double two and a triple four. Okay, I can spend
Do these dice accumulate, or do you have to spend them in the turn?
the wild dice can accumulate. They can
Okay.
accumulate. You can
Okay.
build them up. So you can save them up for a very important turn where quad abilities are very strong, but you need four dice of the same value, no? And having that wild die available to you in the event that you roll a triple and want to upgrade it into a quad,
One.
that can be game breaking. No? That can be very, very vital to your success. No? And these are things that you need to consider. How are you grouping your dice? How do you want to spend your wild die? Do you want to take initiative? And then there's a question here from Eric. When do you
Yes.
have to decide on the grouping of the fours? Um, those are done simultaneously. No, the game it only matters how many singles you have. That's the only thing the game cares about. No, but the one who gets priority on basta as far as I'm concerned, you can group as you
At
wish.
any time. Yeah.
It's
Basta ano, you have to count the number of singles during the initiative.
Yeah, and during the initiative phase, that's when you decide how the groupings are, because once the round actually starts, you can't break them anymore.
Okay. During the initiative phase lang talaga. So
Yeah,
you can't have like a quad and then decide to break it up into
nope,
two doubles.
no.
Okay. Okay, that's the answer to our
That's
question.
a decision you have to commit to immediately.
Mm.
So yun.
So for your
So those
singles,
are the
yeah, you
abilities.
have to commit.
Right, right.
Yes.
So, so yun. So are we good about the abilities, how they work,
Yeah.
and how they tie to initiative?
Yes, I'm good with that. Um, you mentioned like a fly tawag dito, a fly rune mark. Are there like universal rune marks?
Yes, they are. Basically, the fly rune mark tells you that you have infinite vertical
Yeah.
distance.
Are
You
there
don't
other universal rune marks, or is it just one?
um there's cavalry, there's cavalry slash mounted, and then there are beast rune marks. These just tell you that you cannot climb. You
Oh,
cannot
okay,
climb.
okay,
You cannot climb vertically on walls. They're really just ground bound.
okay.
Earthbound, sorry.
Another question from Eric. Yes, Teacher Mikey did mention that the wild dice carry forward if not used. So you can
Yes.
accumulate them to use them at a later turn to do your quad actions. So
And
if you
increase your
want your blood
singles.
knights to like or increase your singles, okay. So
can
ano,
increase
is
your
it more
singles.
singles is higher initiative or less singles?
More singles is higher initiative. So that's the
Okay.
great thing about the initiative system of Warcry. If you're going first, if you have the initiative, that usually means you have less abilities to use.
Okay.
So that's the balancing act. If you have more singles, you're fat. So kind of works in real life. If you're single, you're faster and more mobile, more choices in life. But if you are paired or tripled, um, you have special things. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Let's build you a warband. Let's build your warband.
Yes, please.
See, so we have 1,000 points now. I think first you'll want to decide. So there are many ways that you can go about it. Do you want to be hordy, or do you want to go elite? And that's a great thing about Warcry. Um, Even Stormcast Eternals can go horde. Like they can have a few Stormcast bodies, which are
And
very
then a bunch of
strong,
birds.
and a bunch of birds, and maybe a few bird dogs. Yeah, so you can have your Griffhounds as well. You have those options in Stormcast Eternals. Okay, so what kind of warband would you like to have, Kesh? Horde or
Uh,
Elite? Let's look at your choices.
I honestly don't know. We have like 2 pages worth of cards here.
Yeah, so your cheapest model is a Deadwalker Zombie at
Or a
50
skeleton
points.
warrior.
Yeah, or
They're both
Skeleton
good.
Warrior. Yeah, but the considerations that you can make is okay, so the Skeleton Warrior with Ancient Spear has a 2-inch
Has
attack.
yeah, better range but less attacks.
Yeah, no, yes, you are correct.
And has
But
better fit.
yeah, better crit. The Dead Walker zombie is fatter. It's got 10 health,
It's
but
fat.
it's fat. Now, the advantage of a 2-inch attack is it's a 2-inch attack. If your opponent is a melee type that has 1-inch attacks, they'll need to come in close first. This gives you a defensive advantage. You can poke from 2 inches away, and your opponent will need to waste one action to move
To
to
move.
1 inch distance. Yeah, so that's definitely a factor. Sige. So,
Okay, okay.
or ano, you can, okay, another, I think one good way to go about it is to choose your leader first and build around. Kasi
Okay, okay, okay.
the leaders have the strong abilities. The leaders have the strong abilities, and you can choose the rest of your war band
Okay.
based
So
on the
leaders are
strategy.
the Starburst skull, right?
Yes, the Starburst Skull.
Okay, so anything with a Starburst skull. Uh okay. So Starburst skull. So my options are the Vampire Lord, the Necromancer, the White King on Skeletal Steed,
Yeah,
the Vargoyle. Oh, even the unit leaders. Okay. Hmm.
you definitely have a lot of options here.
Yeah. The asshole move would be like to do a full Blood Knight warband, but like I will receive nothing but shit from Rian for like doing full Blood Knights, and I feel like it's just gonna be like 5, 6 models, and that's it. So how about we focus on the models inside the Vexed Village box?
There you go. There you go. That's a really
Yes.
good way to start since you already
So we
have
have the
those.
options of zombies, skeleton warriors of both varieties, a skeleton champion. We can probably use like what's his face, Watch Captain Halgrim as a seneschal.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can probably also use Radukar the Wolf as a vampire lord. So maybe for our backbone, let's use Radukar and at least one Kosargi Night Guard.
Is there no default leader option from the Vexed Village box?
Paanong default leader?
That isn't a stand-in. Like Radukar is standing in for your Vampire Lord. The problem with that is I think Radukar has a much larger base than the Vampire
Uh,
Lord.
Let me check real quick.
Yeah. Let's see what leaders you have because
Nope, they're both 40 now.
they're both 40 mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Confirm ko lang si Vampire Lord on the Games Workshop website.
Is there a Hell Knight in the Vex Village or a
A
Skeleton
Hell Knight.
Champion? Yeah.
A Hell Knight is cavalry. So no, there is a skeleton champion.
Yeah, it's a leader but not a very
Pretty
strong
boring.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a bit boring one.
Like even the model is kind of boring. He just has a mask.
Oh, by the way, Kesh, I forgot to mention this, but in the
Mhm.
same vein that you can have a guest hero from another faction in the same book, in the same Grand Alliance, you can also have a second leader as a hero. So you can actually have two hero models in your warband.
Okay. Well, I confirmed, and both the new Vampire Lord and Radukar the Wolf do have the same base size.
Okay, we'll allow it. We'll allow it. Cool, cool, cool.
Yes, I am the
Sige.
TO. I allow it.
Yes, rule of cool, man. And Radukar
Yeah,
is a vampire lord.
he is
He's
a
a
Vampire
vampire
Lord
lord.
naman. Yeah, and he is 100% G-Dub.
Exactly.
Yeah, we can
Okay.
probably dump the Varg gear in there and like the Virkos Bloodborne.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So there are Varg here in. Oh yeah, there are Varg here in Verkos in the Vex Village box.
Hero, he's base coated pa lang, but he's gonna get there. He's gonna get there.
Oh, nice,
I
nice,
need a
nice.
few more Praetorium runs with Gaius Van Belsar to get him up to scratch.
Yeah. So comments in the comment section, viewers, please take a look at the PDF. Help us
Yes.
choose which one, which fighters have good abilities. What can we fit into 1,000 points? Um, a 9 model warband from Eric. Who wants a 9 model warband? Rap Rap Banzon from Kalasag, Kapilan at Kalasag Gaming, also a dedicated Warcry and Mordheim player watching right now.
Mordheim!
Mordheim, the
Yes,
precursor
another game I
to
have not played. Because like I
yeah,
generally hate rats because Nagash hates rats.
right.
And there are no undead in Mordheim.
Okay, you know what?
That's my rule for AoS eh. No death, no play.
Yeah, you know what? The Vard scare are pretty good with the 35 wounds,
Yes.
and
Very fat.
but it's 220 points. That's a huge chunk of your. You can probably have a few. So one leader, 225. Um, yeah, maybe your Varg skier can be your second. It's like your lieutenant.
Yeah,
But
your beater.
yeah, wow, you don't have. Wow, there are not a lot of ranged options
Again,
in.
death. Ranged. We don't do that here.
Of
If you're
course,
looking for ranged options, you should not be looking in death.
yeah. But the Verkos have good mobility. They can definitely close the distance pretty fast.
Mhm.
And 4 attacks at 4 strength, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. You're still you're still hitting Stormcast Eternals 33% of the time with that. Because they have a base most of them have a base toughness of 5. Some
Eh.
can be 6. Yeah. So you'll be killing birds and Gryphounds with that 4 strength. But the crits, wow, that crit is huge. Crit
Yeah,
5.
that's a 5, right?
That's a 5. Although it is pretty soft at 3 toughness,
That is
15
true.
wounds.
It's
15
native.
wounds is okay. Yeah, 15 wounds is okay, but you don't have Wargeists in Vex Village, right?
We don't have Vargas in Vex Village, but I have 3. But like let's try to keep it for the folks at home who do have X Village who want to build.
Yeah, actually, truth be told, there are a lot more Vexed Village copies out there in the wild than
Mm.
people perceive. I bet you if you walk into certain local game stores right now, you'd find a copy of Vexed Village. Okay.
And
Uh, okay, so the Vercos is how many Vercos are there in the box?
I believe there are three.
So that's 360.
Yeah, we don't have
Um,
to put all of them in, or we don't have to put any in. We can like put in a skeleton champion. We can put in skeleton
right,
warrior.
right. Although again, the Vercos are good. The Vargs here are. Oh yeah, we how many Vargs here do you have?
There's only one Varg gear in the box. There are
Oh,
two
okay.
Kasargi Night Guard.
Hmm. You know what? The Kosargi Night Guard are pretty beefy, and they have a 2-inch attack. But I think in this case, I'd like to dedicate our points in the Vargs here, because really good
Yeah,
movement.
and Kasargi doesn't have any abilities. I know this.
Yeah, the kind of bites. The
Yeah,
Vargs gear
in AoS
ability.
they actually serve to protect, like absorb wounds for Radukar, but they don't
Yeah.
seem to have that ability here.
No, they don't. They don't. Okay. The Varg's Gear ability isn't too hot. It just it gives you temporary fly, but it can matter. It can matter in certain situations where you need to reach something, and
Hmm.
with the 6-inch move, that's pretty good. And you do want to get close and personal. With the Varg's Gear, it's pretty strong. It's pretty durable. Damage is pretty high. Good movement. Yeah, so we get our Vargs here. That's 220. Maybe a pair of
Varg
Verkos.
gear is movement 8.
Really?
Yeah, look, it's an 8.
Are you sure?
Yeah, also see Bloodborne, that's an 8.
Oh, well, in the. No. I'm looking at the PDF. It's 6.
Is it 6?
It's a 6. It's a 6.
Wait, Control C.
Oh, okay.
Control
So,
V. Oh, that's
um,
6. Okay.
okay.
I guess my eyes are as bad as Eric's.
Okay, speaking of Eric, Eric would like to remind us that there are neutral abilities that can
Yeah.
be used by any fighter. Okay, and one of the default abilities that are really good is a double that
Hmm.
increases the movement by 1 for the entire activation. So it can,
Okay.
so your Vorg Sphere can actually cover 14 inches. Your
Okay.
Kusargi Night Guard can actually cover 10 inches in the same activation, and there's also a double ability that increases the attack characteristic by 1 for the entire activation. So oh, and the other caveat with abilities is that you can only use one ability per activation. So the Vard Skier can only choose one ability to use, for example, if you activate it. But it's still pretty good. You can get into good range eventually. So maybe one having a Kosargi might not be a bad idea. Uh, just take one of it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good for the beef.
Yeah. We can actually use ano pala, Halgrim as a White King.
Oh,
Yeah. Kasi the old
oh,
White King um is on a square base
and that yeah, wow. The White
and it got
King is
shifted to a 32. Yeah.
the White King is pretty good. Beheading strike, a double. It makes critical hits even more critical. Yeah,
Mhm.
well, it's not super good, but it's just a double and squeeze out as much damage as you can. Uh, yeah, cool. You can have the White King as your. It's a cheaper leader than the Vampire Lord.
True,
Definitely,
true.
you might want that.
Yeah, let's go with Halgrim instead. So may silbi siya.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, the Vampire Lord can suck blood.
Of course you can.
Uh,
Our Lord. He sucks.
yeah. Um,
Pero no, the White King has a movement of 3.
oh, okay. I missed that.
He is slow AF.
Oh nga, no? Huh. You know what? Funny, because the Blood Knight with Templar Blade is actually better than the White King. It's not a leader, but anyway, let's go back to what you actually have. No?
Well, I do have like 25 Blood Knights, so that's the thing I have.
Yeah. Okay. Sige. I think we're pouring over the
Yeah. So
minute too
let's
much.
focus lang. Okay, so we can bring like a Vampire Lord, a Vargskir, a Kosargi, and we are at Calculator.
You know what?
225
This
plus
becomes a question of how many mooks can you take? How many mooks can you fit in at 50 points each? That's a pretty good question to ask. Like,
Okay, so with just those three models, we're at 615. And compared to those three models, 615 is around 12 mooks.
yeah, but we still have 300 points left,
Yeah,
which is good for
so
6 mooks.
6 mooks.
So 9 models. Oh, that's a pretty good number. My daughter, the reason
And
they can win so consistently,
5 mooks, 5 mooks. Kasi like we are at 615. So
which gives
lalampas tayo na
us no, so that gives us 390 points.
Oh, right. Math. Okay.
Oh, so we can
Yeah,
actually
we
reach
have
10
more mooks.
models. Wow, we can reach 10 models. We're not being efficient with the points distribution, but you can turn. Okay, you can have a skeleton champion
Yeah,
to.
to fill up
So
the points instead of Skeleton Warrior.
yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So we'll end up with uh, 6 skeleton warriors, a skeleton champion, and then the Vargskir, Sargi Night Guard, and the Vampire Lord. Wow, yeah, we're at
Okay,
10 models.
Eric has like a comment that we have to take into heart. Movement 3, no range, don't do it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Got it. We won't take the White King.
No
Don't
White King
worry.
for us.
Sorry. How? You know
Pero
what?
ano,
You need to.
skeletons also have 3 move. Eric, it seems like unless we go cavalry, we really have to like we have no choice but to do 3 move.
Yeah. But you know what? You need those Mook models to tie up other models as well in
Mhm.
melee. Make them waste a movement. Uh, yeah, make them waste a movement. Kasi ano eh, if you get into base contact with something, if they move, they have to retreat, and if they retreat, their movement is shortened to a paltry 3 inches, and they have to move away from all enemies
Ah,
in line of sight. So forcing the base contact is really good in Warcry. Uh, it can be a serious liability for opponents who are very elite to be tied up or surrounded even by. So, for example, if you surround my Stormcast Eternal with if you surround it with three different skeletons, and I can't retreat, I can't move. To. I'm tied up in melee. I can't use my powerful crossbow.
mhm.
So having a lot of bodies to tag your opponent with can help. But I think to make up for that, I think Kesh, you need to take all three Virgos Blood ones.
All 3 Virtus Bloodborne.
Yeah, gives you good mobility. The 3 toughness is regrettable, but the 15 wounds is kind of helps. And the fact that they have 4 attacks at 4 strength, which really hits a lot of things on a 3 up, considering how soft a lot of units are in Warcry. Virtus are glass
You know what
cannons.
seems
They
like
are
a
glass.
better deal than Virtus Bloodborne right now? Black Knights. But no,
Oh,
we are not playing Black Knights. I
no,
don't
we're
have
not.
Blood Black Knights. Those are like the legit only model on this list that I do not have
Okay,
because I did
cool.
not build them,
Yeah,
which
but
is sad. But
if you can expand beyond the Vex Village, the Necromancer can really shore up your lack of
yeah, I'm
range.
actually using this guy from Vex Village as my necromancer.
Okay, go. There you
Yeah,
go. There you
see,
go.
Virgilius stole my thesis.
Oh, in that case, wow. We can end up with a really solid list now. So I'll do the math now. You got your Necromancer for 150. You got your three Verkos. That's 400 and that's 510 plus an X number of wow, Kesh. This is pretty good.
How many
Sige.
scullies do we have, though?
So at 760 points, here's what you get. Uh, wait, wait. We have a Vampire Lord. Okay, so how many points is the Vampire Lord again? 225?
225.
Ah, shucks. Um, okay, so here's what we have for 985 points. So
Okay.
you can just optimize later. No? So for 985 points, you have the Necromancer, the Vampire Lord. No, so you have your leader and your hero.
Yeah, yeah.
You have three Verkos for the mobility option, and then you have five Skellies. No, and that's how many models? One, two, three. One, two, three, four, five, 10 models. That's pretty good.
Alternatively, you can go necromancer and a bajillion skeletons and zombies.
Yeah, and we haven't even included the Vargs here. Um, oh, you know what? If you okay, here's an alternative build, and this will also be a good way to circumvent our WYSIWYG fanatics. If you take the Necromancer as your sole leader, okay, that will that's basically okay. So with the Necromancer as your leader, three you get three Verkos, one Vargskir, and then your second leader would be the Skeleton Champion at 70
Mm,
points, and then four Skellies. And that still gives you 10 models to work with. And 10 models in Warcry, that's pretty good.
and
That's
we
pretty
have a
good.
ranged attack, 3 to 7 inches,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is very unusual for a death player to have.
yeah. So the way you will play this, Kesh, is you have your four Skellies and the champion Skelly to move up the board, no, to use up their activation to move twice. And if you can afford a double to increase their move by one,
Yeah,
that would be better. Get them to the objectives as quickly as possible, or get them to tie up. Get them to tie up your opponent's advancing models, and then get your Verkos as soon as possible to the objectives first.
yeah. And heads up, we can res dead skeletons on a triple.
We can res. So taking skeletons is really good. No, it's really good. So save your wilds. Save your wilds so you can turn multiple doubles
Into
into
triples.
into triples.
Yeah, okay. That
Oh,
that sounds awesome.
wow! So Vex Village, this Vex Village gives me a complete Warcry warband that's actually pretty effective.
Yeah,
Wow! Wow!
that's pretty neat,
Wow! Wow! Is that a reason for me now to start building my Vex Village?
You should.
I should. I should.
Anyway,
It's
now we have our list. I think we should be moving on to answering questions.
yeah.
Okay, so guys, please do ask us questions. We'll be going through the comment section now. Okay, so right, so good evening to Michael Lim and Angelito Ko. Um,
I hope they're still watching. They were there at the start.
yeah. All right, so it's Michael was asking. I was lucky to get the S1 box. Any other supplements I should get?
Um, just the ano, just the Grand Alliance books. So you get all of the updated data cards. Kasi actually, if you get the card packs for individual factions, that's well and good if you really wanted to collect the cards. But one Grand Alliance book is worth four card packs, and a Grand Alliance book contains no less than 10 factions. So you're getting value for money
That's for
in these
order.
in
Yeah.
these books. Yeah. So get the Grand Alliance books that you want. For me, I only really care about Order and Chaos. Those are the models that I have in my collection. But now, because I have Vexed Village, I don't need to buy Death because there's the free PDF. No? And
Yes, you don't need
they're
to do
not
that.
in the book. They're not in the book
They're not in
either.
the book. Yes. All right. So
That's the only essential that you need. But
yeah.
everything else, the Tome of Champions, those are just extra campaigns that you can play. They're not bad, but not necessary for the core experience of
Okay.
Warcry.
So think they'll update the Alliance tomes anytime soon.
Yeah, but you know what? The updated books, these books came out early this year. These books came
Was
out
it
early
just
this year.
early this year? It feels so long ago.
Yeah, they came out
Is
early
my
this year.
perception of time just that warped?
Yeah, but that is the truth. We got these books at the start of the year. Um, and what's revolutionary about the Grand Alliance books, and this is another thing that Warcry has over old Kill Team and even new Kill Team, and most any other skirmish game on the market. Um, all of the line troops, all of the line troops in AOS are available. Many of the mounted units
Uh,
are
uh, uh, uh,
also,
Not all of the line troops. Not all of the line
except the
troops.
wolves. I
The
am so
dire wolf.
sorry. I am so sorry. So it's safe to say,
Stormcast get doggos. I don't get doggos.
okay, safe to say that 90%,
Okay.
90% of the Age of Sigmar line of models, including Cities of Sigmar. So take your old Warhammer Fantasy Battle models and bring them to your Warcry table. 90% of AOS models are usable in Warcry. That is amazing. That's a lot. That's
Yeah.
literally thousands of models to choose from for
Ang
your
parang wala
warband.
lang are the big monsters, right?
Yeah. Only the big monsters. The Chaos Lord on Karkadrak. Oh my god. Chaos Lord on Karkadrak. How cool is that? You can have him in Warcry. You can have him as a guest hero in a Skaven warband. You just have that
That
one
sounds
beacon.
utterly kadiri, man.
Um what they call this? The Stormcast Eternals on Dracolines? Holy moly. On
Yeah, those things are
Dracolines.
horrible even in AOS, so I can't imagine what they'll be doing in Warcry. Horrible from a death player perspective, ah. Like they're really good for order players.
Well, in Warcry, they will be eating up a lot of point space. Definitely, they'll easily occupy 25 to 33% of your points. No, at minimum, the Dracoline leaders will eat up 33% of your points, leaving just room for maybe two or three Stormcast Eternals or a lot of birds
Okay.
and
So
dogs.
our next question is from JP's friend. Are Caradron meta?
I think the person that can best answer that is the wise
Eric.
friend Eric. But
Yes.
what I can say about KOs, they are pretty slow. on
Yeah.
the board
If
from
you
what I've
missed
seen.
um, an example of Eric's wisdom earlier, this is an example of Eric's wisdom. So Warcry is a great game ordered from Kesh. Definitely do what he says. He is wise. Just
Yes,
don't listen to
wise.
him when he talks about Lumineth. Yes.
Which got a free full PDF worth of models.
Yes, which Eric also posted in the comments for you elf sims over there.
Yeah. So if only I could paint white, I would. But that mounted model.
I mean,
Oh
I can
my
paint white,
goodness.
but I refuse.
I need to learn how to paint white because
I'll teach you
I
after the plague.
okay, yes.
Yes. Okay. So, what about Seraphon? We actually haven't heard about Seraphon. Like, how is Seraphon in this game
Well,
without their big T-Rexes and Bastiladons?
yeah. I mean, in AOS, they're a different animal. Seraphon, from what I can read, from the abilities, they're very glass cannony. They're very glass cannony. They're fast. Okay, they're fast. They're cheap. Uh, they can do multiple attacks. And when
Okay.
they hit, they can really hit. But don't expect them to survive. They're they have better range than tama ba? I'm pretty sure they
Yeah.
have better
Skinks
range
have
than
no. Yeah.
the skinks compared to the daughters of Cain.
No,
The
definitely.
Seraphon, yeah, the Seraphon have a lot of options. So many things that you can mix and match. Their their toughest. Okay, they have toughness 5 models. If you really want that, they have toughness 5 models with good movement and yeah. Um, it's just that you have to pay a premium. You have to pay a premium for the tougher models in Seraphon. But if you really want to be effective with Seraphon, um,
It's gonna be a
go with the
fast cannon build.
go with the numbers because they can really move fast. They can really move fast, and the crits are good. The skinks with bolt splitters. Oh, they're really good. 12 range in Warcry is
Jeebus.
yeah,
12?
that's yeah, 12 range in Warcry is half the board, and uh, it's a premium. Having good range attack is a premium. Uh, the attack strength is just 3, but Michael, if you get a crit, that's huge. That's 4 damage, and they have a 6-inch move. So even if the strength of these attacks is low, if you get that crit, that's a lot of damage you're looking at. Yeah, the skinks are king. No?
Alright, so definitely if you're playing Seraphon, you should be skinky.
Yeah. Oh, hey, you know what? Oh, the Sorus Scar veteran on Cold One. Oh, okay. This is a mounted model, really tough, but also 25% of your list. uh, it can be your second leader. As it's like your lieutenant. The the skate stars here pretty soft for a leader, but it has good range attacks. Yeah. So okay. So you have really solid options in Seraphon.
Okay.
A lot, but I think in melee, I'm pretty sure that daughters can outdo them. But skinks, Seraphons are more balanced because of their range options.
Okay. So a random comment again from Michael. It's so tiny. That's what she said. Okay. A lot of the questions here, like from Eric, we already answered during the actual stream. So I'm looking through it pa. Okay, so Michael is still here. Hello, still here. And yeah, wala pa daw sa Destruction books yung bagong Cruel Boys.
Oh yeah. Again, no. because the books came out at the start of the
Yeah.
year. It's pretty
So
unfortunate.
and they didn't release PDFs. So do you think that's foreshadowing new Grand Alliance books for Order and Destruction?
Oh man, I think it's too early to have updated books, but a PDF shouldn't be too far behind. I mean,
Kasi
it could be in the
considering the
works.
speed of when the Lumineth and the Soulblight Gravelords
Oh,
PDFs
you are
came out
correct.
immediately after, 'di ba?
You are
Like
correct.
concurrent with the release. So the fact na uh okay, no PDF yet because no battle tome yet. Right, 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 right.
Oh, oh,
Right. Okay.
oh.
So PDF after battle tome. Okay. Mas
Most
mabilis lang
likely.
kasi yung turnover nung
Most likely.
Soulblight Gravelords and the battle tome. Ngayon
Wait,
kasi we have the Dominion set pero wala pa yung battle tomes.
how about the Thunder Strike Stormcast? Do they need a new battle tool?
Yes, they do.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
are correct. Thank you for pointing that out. No, the PDFs did come out after. Thank you, Eric. No, so the updated Warcry PDFs followed the updated battle tools.
Okay.
Wow, that's a
So
wow. Three
so Michael,
updates.
it
I love
seems we
Warcry.
have to wait for the battle tomes lang so that you can get your PDFs.
Yeah.
Pero if you want to play like Iron Jaws, like you were commenting kanina on the Iron Jaws, you should probably pick up
Destruction book.
the Destruction book. But if yun nga, as you say, if you can wait until the end of the year, when they update, or since this was at the start of this year, it's probably gonna be January ulit next year
Yeah.
if we're still alive by then. So if you can, though this is not a problem if you, for example, play, if you dedicate your life to Nagash, because Nagash will bring you back to life. Yeah, don't be scared of no plagues. Or if you worship Nurgle,
If you don't believe in vaccines,
yes, Papa Nurgle wins.
so
So everyone, please get
PSA.
back.
If you are healthy enough for it and are capable of it, please take your vaccine so we can all play in
Yeah,
2022 in person. Please, please.
yes, definitely. Like we actually really miss playing in person.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Okay.
it would
How are
be
we
great
doing?
once we're able to reopen and we're able to have games again. Because as it stands, even if we were open, it would not be responsible to hold games, especially in an air-conditioned venue, considering the Delta variant seems to be airborne.
Yeah, and
So
caveat,
yeah,
when we were playing at the Forge and at NG in those photos, that was pre-spike, pre-new strain, and things were
yeah,
settling down, but then stuff happened, and
yeah.
we
When the
really had
spike
to call them.
happened, the after Valentine spike happened,
There
like
you go.
yeah. Funnily enough, COVID is also technically an STD because they've detected viral loads in semen.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, we're turning
Yeah,
into
so that's the
a
thing you
health
guys know
class.
now.
Cool.
Like,
Yeah.
even if you wear a mask, you should also wear other sorts of protection.
Yes, guys. Always remember that. Always play it safe,
Yes,
not just on the tabletop, but
yes.
in other
Always be
places.
safe.
Always be safe.
Yes. So, any other questions? We'll wait like the requisite second lag because of the Facebook. As we've discussed before, Facebook actually has a 10-second lag between live and the actual live video. So we can't really answer your question super real time, but please do ask us questions. We will be answering after the 10-second delay. I'll be going through the comments again, looking through interesting comments.
Pero ano, Kesh, what do you think so far of Warcry? Like how it
Okay,
plays?
I'm
First,
super
your
interested
impressions.
kasi like personally, ang daming options sa SBGL eh. I didn't see this many options, for example, for OCR Gravelords because they have a smaller model line.
Yeah, but they have a
There,
very solid
yeah, of course.
selection.
that's the thing naman kasi with Osiark eh. They are small model line but they are very solid. Though right now they are not very solid in AOS because medyo napag-iwanan nga sila as my previous
Really?
rant said, yeah.
Really?
Kasi ano, everything that made Osiark special has been rolled out to all of AOS. So yeah,
Oh.
like unit champions issuing orders, every turn gaining command units, etc. So yeah,
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Osiark Bone Reapers really needs an overhaul and skeleton archers. Come on, G-Dub, you gave us a skeleton archer in Underworlds for what's his name's Reapers, Kainan's Reapers. Why can't
Yeah.
you give us a full unit of the skeleton archers? Like you have proved that they can use bows. Please give
And they
me
have
range.
load and they have loadouts right now that don't exist in Warcry. The Canaan Sweepers box.
Yes,
So some of the skellies there, what? Why don't they have those weapons in Warcry? We
yes.
want those
Please,
options in Warcry.
G-Dub, give me bows. Give me bows. Give me range. Give me a shooting face, parang awa.
Yeah. So
Please.
Michael Lim's comment predicting Warcry 2. Um, hmm, maybe a little too early. I'd give it a minimum of 3 or 4 years because as like editions in 40K would last around 3 to 4 years. Kill Team lasted 3 years. The current edition that we have. So, but I guess my wish list for Warcry would be updated battle tomes. Sorry, updated Grand Alliance books at the very least. No,
Yeah.
Warcry right now, the way it works, it's pretty good. Um, it's what I would call the people's war game. No, yeah, I'm going out on a limb and say that Warcry is the war game of the masses in terms of access in terms of price point, complexity, the amount of fun. Um, it really appeals to a lot of player types and people of different economic persuasions. It's very affordable, relatively.
Okay, so let's put that on the ban. Okay.
Yes,
So
Warcry is the war game of the masses.
thank you, Comrade Mikey. Anyway, so Michael is saying now while he doesn't think he'll be making a Night Hunt army anytime soon, which you really shouldn't because Warcry are total crap in AOS right now. Wait for an update. Um, but if you already have the Soulstorm box, that's really good to start with Night Hunt Warband. However, I actually discussed building a Night Hunt Warband with Dr. Go before the start of the pandemic because it's what I was gonna play. Wala pa kasing Soulblight Gravelords noon and Skeleton Warrior models for Legions of Nagash weren't very inspiring for a skirmish game. So the best unit in Night Hunt for a Warcry Warband is the Spirit Host,
Yeah,
and you have to order that separately. So what you do next is you send me a PM and say, Kesh, I would like to order a box of Spirit Hosts. And then I will tell you, yes, I will order you a box of Spirit Hosts. And that, with your Soulstorm box, will be enough to get you a really good, solid starter warband for Warcry.
is
But
that a
like,
red? Is that a red arrow order? Is that a made to order?
it's not a web store, I believe. Teka. Kasi I managed to order those before eh.
All the
Checking
night
the
hunts
site.
do look good.
No, they are not. They are not web store exclusive. We can readily order them. You just let
Yon.
me know when you want it, and I will get you your Mumu. That is why my name is Mumukesh. So definitely, if you have the Soulstorm box, you have almost everything you need, but the Spirit Hosts. you should have always have at least one Spirit Host model in a Night Hunt warband because they are just so good. Like I can't find my book right now because everything's a mess, but trust me, you will not regret the Spirit Hosts. And if you actually do build like a
Mm.
full
Okay.
army for Night Hunt, the Spirit Hosts are also one of your best units. So it's a win either way. You'll be using it in Warcry, you'll be using it in AoS. So, any final questions? We'll take siguro one more question, and then we'll sign off for the night. Probably get painting.
Yeah, I am ready.
Yeah, yeah. I am actually working on Bella Dama Volga.
Ooh,
Yeah, just a few more
nice.
details left on her and her doggos. Yeah,
Do you
but
have any old vampire lords with you?
yes, I do. Let me just shunt the camera up for a while as I
Wait, you're doing
stand
that
by.
now?
Yeah, yeah, it's right here on the shelf.
Yeah. So you know what? I think that's the leader that I want for my SBGLs.
Nalaglag yung webcam ko. All right.
Oh no.
No, no, it's here, it's here, it's here. Okay.
Oh, wait, there's a question from Michael
Nalaglag lang
Lim.
siya sa likod ng ano ko. Okay, so there we go. Um, yeah, I'm not wearing pants. I haven't worn pants in weeks, so like I had to shunt the camera up.
Yeah,
Like they
I'm
got stolen by
wearing
the Gene
pants.
Stealers. So
Oh,
this is like the old Manfred.
oh, it's a
Yeah,
mounted
yeah,
one.
yeah, the
Okay.
mounted one. The on foot one is like in the Sprupa, and this is Vlad.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty
Yeah, you can't really see it, pero I trimmed his armor.
cool. Mm.
Okay, so Michael is asking which terrain box expansion ang pinakasulit kunin.
Ah, I have a good answer for that. Let me get that box. I do have it. Wait.
Yeah, you're wearing pants naman, no?
Okay. Okay, so
Show us
if
the
there's
box.
a Warcry terrain expansion box, there you have two options though. You have one for aesthetic appeal, and you have one for amount, and tactical crunch. So the one that I got, being the gamer that I am, is the tactical crunch one. What I didn't get was the mausoleum, which is a really good looking piece of terrain, and this is what I got. Reverse. There you go. So this is
Okay,
the
it's the
Shattered
Shattered
Storm Vault,
Stormbolt.
and this is different from the regular AOS version because this box actually contains more for the price than the regular Storm Vault kit. You know? And if you look at these are the contents. Oh, look
Oh
at that!
yeah, that's really nice. It comes with the
Look,
mat.
it comes with the mat. It comes with the
Oh
mat. It
nice,
comes with
nice.
and it comes with the different missions associated with it. Tapos na pala, in terms of other supplements, uh, you don't actually need the cards that come in the starter boxes because, so for those who don't have the starter box, who are watching this or who's watching this after the live stream, you don't need the cards because the core rule book actually has the cards, and
Mm-hmm.
you can just roll for them. Okay, you can just use a d6 to roll for to create your scenarios, to create
Moth,
your
moth, moth,
battles.
moth, moth, moth. Sorry,
There's
moth.
some more.
Yeah,
So I just had to add that. So yeah, Shattered Storm Vault, best value for money when it comes to the
yeah.
contents.
I actually went ahead and
Pretty
got
good.
the mausoleum since I used like one of the huge mausoleum pieces for Nagash's base, like
Yeah.
for the old painting competition.
Mm-mm.
So I mounted Nagash on it. He's magnetized, so he can pop off it, and then we can use it for terrain in AOS, and then he pops back on his base.
The mausoleum really looks nice. There's just
Yeah,
no elevation. That's the problem. But the Storm Vault, lots of cover, some elevation is there, and yeah, you can even stand on the pillars if if your model is able to stand on those pillars. Pretty cool. And again,
okay.
cover is important, and there are many ways to corner an opponent in the Shattered Storm Vault. So yeah, it's a pretty cool one.
Okay,
Piece of trade.
I have a request from Eric to show my Nagash. It's actually on my Instagram. Believe it or not, I have an Instagram.
Wow, we have an Instagram. I should follow
I have
you.
an Instagram, yes. Yeah, so I'll just link to that.
Also, get
I
your
actually haven't
own
posted to it lately. I will, because I
get
totally
your Warcry
forgot that I
boxes.
have an Instagram until now. So, Eric, that's for you. That's the Instagram. I'll also like stream it here, sandali. Um, where is the thing? Okay, share screen, window. There we go. And there you go, Eric. That's my Nagash. I included the link for a high resolution version here on the it's on the Instagram. You'll also see it in person because we'll be using it as like store terrain. It actually switches with this thing I made. Standing up. Yeah. So the Storm Vault
It's super
the
nice.
mausoleum actually comes with like a statue of Sigmar, but fuck that guy. So I made the statue of Nagash.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's
You
pretty
know
good.
what? I'll
That's pretty good.
probably like either sell off or give away the Sigmar as a giveaway in one of our future streams. If anyone likes Sigmar, Sigmar. But like Nagash is the way. Nagash is the way. It actually goes there in the middle of the mausoleum, and it's the replacement for Nagash when Nagash actually goes back to his base. So I think that's all the time we have for the questions. So thank
Yeah,
you again, Teacher Mikey, for joining us for the Warcry.
of course. Anytime,
Yeah,
man. It was fun.
we're not sure yet what we're gonna be doing next week, but we sometime this month we will be doing like a Dragonforge reminiscence special, where we will just reminisce on like various moments throughout the history of the Forge, back from FBR all the way to UP Town Center, and you guys are like gonna be free to like share your favorites in the comment section, and we're just gonna hang around and like share, and it's gonna be featuring a lot of the Dragon Forge owners that you haven't seen in a while, and who you might think are dead,
Wow.
but they aren't dead. They're just really fat. Uh, so look forward
Yes,
to
they're
that.
not dead.
And Teacher Mikey and I are discussing like the a video comparing the various skirmish games that we have available, and we're going to be doing pros and cons, like how easy it is to get into, what's the price points, etc., in actual Philippine cash monies, since a lot of the videos out there are from American or European perspective or an Australian perspective, which is worse than ours because everything's more
Yeah.
expensive in Australia. Yeah. So Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you have any requests for like future videos, any ideas, you can put it in the comment section. You can like message us. You can just don't message my Instagram because I totally forget that I have it. Like I only remembered now when Eric asked about the Nagash. So um yeah, just message us on Facebook. If you haven't yet, please like our page and watch our videos. And if you aren't a member yet of the Dragonforge Wargaming Facebook group, please do join. That's where we post our pre-orders every week. And we have a request from Eric for a Lumineth video, to which I will say no.
Well, I think that one of the things that we can indulge maybe on for a shorter video, if we do some Grand Alliance and faction specific look at the Warcry stuff, and also for AOS, we can
Yeah,
do that.
we will have like a 2 second part of the Lumineth and we'll skip over them. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
Lumineth
like
or Fast. Wow. The end.
pros overpowered, cons fuck these guys. Next. Okay, I really like this one from Michael. How to suck someone into the Warhammer black hole as a topic. That will be a Kesh masterclass episode. Yeah, definitely. And Grand Alliance Warcry videos. Okay.
Yeah,
Let's write it
sure.
down. Yeah, these are really good ideas. Just keep it coming, guys. We'll be looking at the comments even after the stream ends. So just keep suggesting topics. We'll pick them up. And by the way, we will also be featuring our Tale of N Warlords as a stream video soon. Once I get off my ass and finish doing the glorious crusade systems and narrative campaign systems for them based off the various core rule books. So we'll see you next week, and goodbye and good night.
Good night, everyone.